Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the LitFest 2023. Today we have with our guest Rimli Bhattacharya, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am, to the LitFest 2023.
Thanks for inviting, Nitish. It's a pleasure to attend the LitFest 2023.
So today we'd have a discussion on the role of female writers, in modern literature, the rising participation, to be precise, of female writers in modern literature. So, what are your viewpoints on this aspect?
If we talk about 2 decades back, the number of female writers was very low. It gradually increased over the period of time. Now, the thing is, female wants to be more vocal. We were not so vocal what we used to be in the past. Now females are more vocal, females are educated, and females do not want to stay in a world of alpha males. So that's the voice the females want to put through. If we go back to our Tagore stories, even there the females have been subjugated. So now the females, they want to voice what their concerns are. So, and that's the reason the number of female writers have increased and are increasing. And not only that, even the content matters. What the females write in their stories, in their narrations, that also matters. Now, for example, I focus on mental illness. So I have thousands of articles on mental illness. So there it goes by. The main impact is the females want to voice their issue, and that's the reason the number of female writers have increased.
But the thing is that we have great female writers like Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte in the yesteryears. It's not like that women were not authors or writers, but why there had been a few handpicked writers, female writers at that time. Any thought on that?
See, those days we were in a society. The society was different. We evolved gradually. Those days, like for example, Emily was a scientist. Now, how do we know about her? We haven't even heard about her. Even me also, I also haven't heard about her. Then the model, the one who is suffering from leukodama. So we don't know about them. How do we come to know? Somebody should focus, somebody should mention us that yes, there existed scientists, mathematicians, then theater artists. So this we are coming to know gradually. And how we are coming to know? Just because the females have started writing on women more. Not only female, even the men have started writing more on it. But the female writers who had the knack to write, that number has increased. The knack to write and the content, everything has increased. Yes, we had female writers before, but they were all subjugated. So now the females are much more advanced and much more vocal, given to the scenario, what we see, and hence you can say the emergence of female writers.
Yeah, and that's true. Actually, we have the only one author, the J.K. Rowling, who has been an inspiration for many authors, male authors as well as female authors. So what do you think need to be done in order to promote the female authors specifically?
To promote a female author, number one, the author should have a good content in what she is writing. And definitely when the content is good, the editor will definitely pick up her story, whatever it is. It can be a fiction, it can be a non-fiction, it can be a poem, anything. So what happens when the content is there? The editor or the publisher is bound to pick up the work. So here comes the role of the author first. That is, you should know what you are writing, your content. And the encouragement from everywhere, once, for example, the first write may not be, may not be that famous, or may not be that good. So not to break down or crumble because just one thing went bad, you can hone your skills gradually and grow up. When I started writing at a very young age. My writing was not so fluent, and there were a lot of errors in it. Even now, I have errors, but I focus on the content. Main is your content should be, applicable and apt for the society for that moment.
At the time when readership is getting gradually day by day to a diminishing stage. So how is it important to promote the authorship as a whole, first of all?
Come on again, I couldn't hear, the voice is breaking.
Okay, at the time when readership is getting diminished day by day, how much it is important to promote the authorship as a whole, first of all?
Yes, the readership, you can say about the readership. Now, if I give example of my book, okay, the very first book, it was an anthology on mental illness, which was edited by Jerry Pinto and was published by Speaking Tiger Publications. That book went viral. It was far and wide reached. Why? Because the editor was very famous and the publishing house was very good. Now, my second book was not as popular as this one, Light Book of Light. Why? Because number one, the editors were not known, not familiar. Second, the writers were not known. Third, the publishing house was not of a very fame-worthy house. And like we feel that we need a strong backup, like we need a good story, we need a good promotion, we need a good editor, and we need a good publishing house, and most importantly, we need advertising more on the women authors. Everywhere there should be there should be a mention about the upcoming book of a female writer. The PR, it matters a lot. The marketing matters a lot.
You want to say that the female authors should be promoted categorically, right? Hello.
The feminism in India, Cafe de Census, Readomania, Juggernaut. So I used to write for them.
Okay.
So when I started writing for them, people came to know, yes, there is a writer called Rimli Bhattacharya who writes some good stories, some good fiction, some good non-fiction, and she hits on the current topic, the current thing, which is you can see the topical thing. She catches the topical thing and then she writes on it. So it went that way. I started with small blogs with the e-zines, and then I gradually grew up, and then a time comes when you feel that you should do something for your own satisfaction. Now, how do you do it? You publish your own book. So that is how it went. And to promote my book, yes, of course, the social media handles helped me, and yes, a little bit of marketing was necessary.
So my one question is, ma'am, that you said marketing is necessary. Of course, marketing and PR is necessary for promoting the book. But the thing is that as I said earlier, we have good writers in the past, in the contemporary times when we talk about, like Mardula Garg ma'am, or even in the current times like Chitra Banerjee, Deva Karuni. So if there are good writers, then there are good females. So why there is a need of a specific, promotion of the female writers?
A very bitter truth. The writing industry right now works in groups. You should be a very good person in the social circle. Your social circle should be very strong. Once that is strong, you can say that people will go and love and write. I see everywhere they operate in a group. There's a particular group. This group supports this set of writers. This group support this set of writers. So it's like that. So first of all, I feel the writing industry shouldn't function like that. It shouldn't be functional like you should work in groups. Now, in our earlier times, Emily and all, so they never had a group, and they never had media handles. They never had any advertising. They just wrote. Madame Marie Curie wrote about her invention, and we read it, right? But now there are a lot more females. Now the scientists working in ISRO, or you can see in the defense research organization, there are a lot of females who are researching every day. But then do we come to know about them? No. Why? Because they are not into any groups. It's the writing industry is very, very biased. They operate in groups, and the groups are very powerful. You go against a group, you're finished.
So you are telling some bold statements, that writers are working in groups. So what do you think, that what aspects are necessary in order to change this, whatever you are saying, like groupism or something like that? How do we change that?
See, I feel a female writer, to be honored and published, she should be unbiased. It's a lot of noise in the background. Can you hear all those noises?
Yeah.
There's a
I
very
can hear. I can hear.
there's a so in order a female writer comes in the limelight without working in any group, is the content on what she is working. She has to do a lot of research, and she has to approach the publishers, and in that case, the author may not be aware of the publishing houses. So I guess that they should take help of a PR, a marketing person, who can help the writer to be, it's like a bridge between the writer and the publishing
Publisher.
industry. It works like a bridge. So in that way, she can bring out her thesis or whatever she has written. Now I'm talking about the scientists. Now they are not even aware that there is a huge publishing house there, so and so, unless that somebody from the publishing house approaches him or her. But then it happens. When does it happen? It happens only when the female goes out vocal and publishes her, talks on social media, and take help of PR. So I believe little bit of marketing at this stage, at this grassroots level, is very much required at this stage. Yes, because the female writing is right now in a very infancy stage, though it's progressing. We have got powerful authors like Shumona Roy, Vinita Agarwal, then Shukrita, Sripona. So we have got the writers coming up. So, but then what happens? We should know about them. Now, for example, today I read a magazine where there was a mention of Paromita Bordoloi. I was not aware that she is a writer. So it came through a e-zine. So little bit of, marketing of your own thing is required. You can go via tweets. You can add a 2 cent of your tweet that you are a writer. So, and main is the connection between the publishing house and the writer. And who does that? The marketing guy.
Okay. Okay. How about a
And
women's...
promote your book.
Okay. How about a
And
women-centric
right
lit
now,
fest?
Come again?
How about a women-centric lit fest?
Yes, I would definitely suggest we should go for a women-centric lit fest. We should invite all the unbiasedly, being non-judgmental. We should invite all women authors to come out and share their narrations. It can be personal, it can be professional, it can be a fiction, it can be non-fiction, it can be a poem, anything. But then the females should come forward and now, for example, one of the writers come who doesn't know the polishing of the work, right? And we should have a good editing team who can judge our stories. And we can and we should promote a lit fest where we have to invite the people over there. We should introduce ourselves, what we are exactly, what is our background, and what we have written. And this should be done at a very like I would say do it in every quarter. Normally we do it in the winter seasons, but like we shouldn't be like it should happen in the winter season only, it should happen in the summer season only. No, irrespective of this, we should continuously promote the female writers through lit fest, through book fairs, through seminars, through reading their work. It should be absolutely a female centric one. Right now we are having lit fest and we are having so many promotional talks and all, but then it's it's heterogeneous. It's both the male and the female. I'm talking about only women. You have given a good suggestion. A homogeneous background, like only female centric lit fest or a fair and seminar is like it's a hot cup of tea.
Indeed, indeed, having a lit fest, women-centric lit fest is always a good idea. So the thing is that you said that, obviously women's had been subjugated, in the past, and, even today you have gave a very bold statement about groupism. So my only question is that, so isn't, as a female writer, isn't it our responsibility to, produce quality content, which would make our readers, to read, such good books, which could, bifurcate, or that, okay, this writer, this female writer has such good content that it's not necessary that, okay, what has been her background, or she has been a part of groupism or something like that.
I told it at the very beginning. Content is the major factor is content. Now, if you want to make a dinner, right? If you want to make any curry for your dinner, you need salt. So that salt is important. The content is important. If the content is not strong, the book is not going to sell. Nobody is going to read your book. You have to be very strong in your content. That is number one prime factor.
Okay, what are your views on these days of the adaptation for OTTs and production house?
OTTs are doing fantastic. They are doing fantastic. You know what couldn't reach to common people or commoners like me. I'm an engineer. I go to my office. I work in my corporate desk and all. So for me, it's like I am more exposed to the world. I'm more exposed. And they are bringing out the new the new content every day. So that is one, you can say it has promoted to it has actually helped the writing industry. And even like we have cinemas like Savitri Bhai Phule, then on Phulan Devi, and on the mathematicians. So obviously we are coming to know more and more about what is happening in the outside world, what has happened in the past. So that way it goes.
And how could the translations help, the female writers to, increase their readership?
Come again, I couldn't hear you.
Translations of their work. Translations of their work.
Translation. You are talking about translation.
Yeah.
Translation is a very, it is a very later stage. Right now we are infants. We need to grow up first. We need to grow up first as a writer, and then we should talk about, like translating our work in Persian, in Iranian, in like in Urdu or something. But then first we have to grow ourselves in whatever language we are writing in. Somebody is writing in Assamese, somebody is writing in Bengali, somebody is writing in English. It's mandatory that you know your what you are writing is, it has got an excellent readership. And once the world knows you that this particular book has a very good readership, automatically the publishing house will come behind you for translations. The main thing, the main aspect, I'm again telling, it is the content.
Okay. So what are your views on the vernacular languages?
Vernacular language, now there are certain poets who are bilingual, who writes in 2-3 languages. Now, for me, I'm not a multilingual writer. I write only in English. But the number of females in multilingual literature is less. They're developing. They're in a nascent stage. They're developing, and I hope that in the next coming decade we will have more of contemporary female writers who have, written in multilingual forums. So that is what I believe, that it's a developing process.
Okay, it's a developing process. So you talked about that, there are very few female writers who are multilingual. So I would ask one more question, that so are there there's no dearth of the female writers who are experimenting in multiple genres, or is there is also a
Yes,
dearth?
yes. There are many female writers who are experimenting in both the, writing in both languages, and both 3 or 4 language. There are female writers. We get to see Lopa Banerjee. She writes in Bengali as well as in English. Then, like Asha Purna Devi's books, which were written in Bengali, had been translated to English. Mahashweta Devi's books, Hajar Churashir Ma, that has been converted into English. So there are people who are doing it, and as I said, Nitish, it's a growing process. We are right now in infancy. We are growing. And definitely a day will come when nobody has to tell us that please, we want it into, like to be translated in several other languages.
Okay, okay, okay. So my one question would be that, okay, as you said, there is a nascent state. So what would you suggest to, the teen girls who are, aspiring to be an author? Young
Or
girls,
aspiring?
teen girls who are, aspiring to be an author. What would be your suggestion?
Yes. I would suggest them, and now there are plenty of young buzzing writers, and their skills are so developed. Once you read their stories, I'm telling you, it's mind blowing. Today I read one article by Sriparna Sen, and that was so nicely written on this movie Donkey. So she has written it's a mind-blowing review. She has written on Facebook. What we need is a little bit of, like a broad platform where we can voice our thoughts. That's the reason you gave me a suggestion, Lit Fest. So the more you approach the female writers, the more we will come to know about you all, the more we will go for the festivals, for the fairs, for the seminars. But then we should come to know about those events. Right now it's a very misogynistic, you can say, surrounding, where typically, the male authors are, introduced. They read their poems and all, but then these young girls, They write so beautiful. Who are going to approach to them? We have got one platform, Youth Ki Awaaz. Read the stories. The young girls, Rinika Chatterjee is one more girl who writes on Youth Ki Awaaz. Mind blowing. These young girls, they know how to write. They are very, very fluent. What they need is a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of platform where they can voice their ideas.
Okay.
A lit fest is a most welcome thing.
Okay. As you said, we talked about the young girls. So what would be your, a piece of advice, to those women who are working and want to be a writer?
I take my example. I am working. I start my work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the time to finish, I don't know when I finish it. But I love to write, and writing doesn't come always. There's a particular phase when that writing will haunt you, and you won't stop unless and until you pen down your thoughts. So that happens, that is the advice I'm giving. If you are a writer, you're a born writer, no matter whatever you are, you may be a scientist, you may be a professor, you may be a dancer, you may be a painter, whatever it is. But if there is a writer in you, you should keep on writing, and you should keep on advertising. You should keep on, informing people that you are also someone who knows how to write. And basically marketing is also required. Marketing is also required.
Okay, so coming back, coming to the last
Promotions,
question of the session, what are your upcoming works?
I plan to write on non-fiction on mental illness. And my one more plan is to, I write for a lot of e-zines. If you search me on Google, you'll find my writings in many platforms. But I want me to compile all the work and go into a single book, and then, get it published in a big way. I take it up in a big way. So what happens, people can read together my works instead of reading where somewhere in this e-zine, in that newspaper, in that journal. They should read in one collaborative work, in one work. So my future plan is to write another book. What I wrote, the two books which I've written were during the COVID times. That time I was working from home, and I had a lot of time. I used to write. But that shouldn't be an excuse, like you are working so you will not write. No, if there is a writer in you, you must uh, inspire that writer.
Okay, so once again, the last question, before I would wrap it the session. So when we are expecting your book, in 2024 or 2025?
Not before 2027.
Oh my God, it's quite a long time, so we would have to wait.
Yes, it's quite a long time, because this time I'm not going to hurry up. The preliminary reason is my daughter's boards. She is giving her boards, and I'm a little busy with her studying schedule. Plus my work, I have been transferred to Ahmedabad. I was located in Bombay. I've been transferred to Ahmedabad, so that relocation is there. And my writing is going on. So I believe it should come somewhere by end to 2026,
Or 2027, starting of the 2027. So hoping for your book has come as soon as possible. And it has been a wonderful session, ma'am, to interact with you on, the various aspects of the female writers. So, and thank you for being a part of the Lit Fest 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.